What's going on, my friends? For today's episode, we're just going to do a casual discussion. If you follow my channel, you know that recently I did an episode with my boy Trap Vision 3D, and we just talked about the Pro Diver. And ever since then, I've just been having so much fun with the Pro Diver. And that's just kind of how it goes with watch collecting. You know, things come in waves. You're interested in certain things and then you lose interest. And in this case, I've just been having an absolute blast with all of my Pro Divers. I think one of the things that really supercharged that interest was recently I got my hands on a Rolex Submariner, and it was a fantastic watch. It was beautiful, you know, everything that you would think a Submariner would be, it was, but it wasn't anything more. It wasn't anything that I had not experienced already. So in a way, I feel like I was freed from this obsession of the Submariner or Rolex watches in general. And now I know for a fact that I'm not really missing out on anything with all these other watches. So I'm appreciating these budget-friendly watches and, you know, these lower-end watches much more because I know I'm not really missing out on much. And so for the topic of today's video, I just wanted to showcase or show off two of the Pro Divers that I've really been enjoying. The first one is going to be the 29180. I'm just going to call this one the Superman because, I mean, it's clearly obvious why I think that way. And then the other one is the 17039, which is a more typical standard Pro Diver style. You can tell that my 17039 is modified. I'm not even going to say that it's modified. I just removed the bezel insert, and I was planning on modding it, but after I removed the bezel insert, I just really like how it looks with a naked bezel, and I think I'm the only one that likes this style. I showed it off on Instagram and on my Discord group, and nobody thinks it looks good, but I got a real soft spot for it. I don't know, it's just so beautifully raw, you know, and yeah, I really like it. So nowadays I'm coming to terms that my styles really don't resonate with anyone else, but I don't care, I'm having a blast. So I always like to do my reviews starting off with price. Even though I don't consider this episode a review, I might as well just discuss the price. For the Superman, I spent a fabulous $70 on it, and you really just cannot beat that price. And then for the 17039, I spent about $90. But the great thing about these watches is, as long as you're patient, they will show up with these great deals on Amazon, Shop HQ, Invicta stores, you name it. You just got to be patient, and eventually a deal will show up. And I mean, even if you don't find a good deal, just stay in the watch community. Eventually somebody's gonna put theirs up secondhand, and, you know, just make a deal for 40, 50, 60 bucks and you'll get yourself a really good watch. And I might as well throw dimensions up there too, so pause the screen if you want and just take a look at those numbers. But you can clearly tell that, you know, none of these numbers are crazy. They're all great, perfect for everyday wearing, and there's really nothing wrong with the dimensions here. Good size and good weight. Not just talking about these watches, one thing that I really like about them is they don't really feel like premium in any way. They just feel like great beater watches, something that is sort of like jingly and jangly. You know, the bracelet, the clasp is like a stamped steel clasp. The end links are hollow end links. And if you get into the watch community, you will quickly learn that those are not desirable traits. But I don't know, I can't explain it. Just over time, as I've experienced very premium level watches, I find myself coming back to these more budget-friendly alternatives with the stamped steel clasp and the hollow end links. I don't know, I really like them. I think it's because you don't have to worry about them at all, whatsoever. Like, they are worry-free. I mean, you beat them up, you ding them up, or you get scratches on them, it really doesn't matter. And to that end, there's nothing better in a watch than a worry-free experience. And, you know, they could do a better job of maybe, you know, putting a little bit more money into the development of the Pro Diver. I'm not going to complain if maybe they implemented a sapphire crystal or maybe like a better finishing, but ultimately, as it is now, it is perfect. And when we're talking about style and the aesthetic appeal, it's no secret, right? It's a direct rip off of the Rolex Submariner, but I really don't care. I mean, For the more professional watch collector, yeah, that's gonna be a big deal. But I consider myself just an enthusiast, just a normal guy that enjoys nice things, things that look nice and don't break the bank. And in this case, you're getting that with the Pro Diver. I think we can all agree on that. Now shifting the focus over to the Superman. Guys, this is such a fantastic watch. Number one, I mean, you remember I said that it cost 70 bucks. You just can't beat that. But it's just a beautiful watch. I mean, you've got that Pepsi bezel, you've got the gold highlights. And one thing that I really like about it is the Jubilee bracelet with the gold polished center links paired with almost like a gunmetal. It's not really gunmetal, but it's a darker silver tone on the main case. I think it looks great. You can see it, you know, in the pictures and on the video that it's a little bit darker, and something about it I just think looks fantastic. The bezel insert is just a typical cheap, I think it's aluminum. It's either aluminum or steel. Either way, it's, you know, that cheap, flimsy, thin steel bezel insert. But even that has its own charm to it. You know, again, with the whole worry-free concept, there's nothing really special about it, and that's what makes it special, because you can just wear it anywhere and not worry about it at all. For the 17039, it doesn't get any more classic than this. Just a silver tone steel bracelet, steel case. Yeah, you're gonna have the engraving on the side of both of them, but you know, whether you like it or not, it's there. And if you don't like it, then you know, look somewhere else. There's thousands of other choices you can get, but if you do like that, I love it. So well, there's no complaints from me. One thing you will notice on my watches is that the sides of the case and also on the 17039, the center links are a brushed or like satin finish, and that's not how they're gonna come out the box. I took a gray Scotch-Brite pad and I brushed the case and then the center links, and I removed the mirror polish. And it really changed the whole watch for me, like night and day. I am not a fan of high mirror polished cases. I just think it looks cheap. You know, on a cheap watch, it makes it look even cheaper. So when you're getting a cheap watch or a budget-friendly watch, I think brushed finish or satin finish is fitting, and it makes it look so much better. So that's what I did, and it's super easy to do. It's a very entry-level modification. The gray Scotch-Brite pad modification is very forgiving. You don't have to like have a steady hand. You can really just go to town on it, and even if you mess it up, you can start over and clean it up real nice. In this case, I probably spent about 30 seconds to a minute, just brushing the case, and this was the results. So obviously it's not perfect, but it's good enough for me, and I am happy with the results. But going back to the 17039, I really like this one because it is like the quintessential budget beater watch. Like when you're talking about beater or budget, immediately my mind will think about this watch or any variation of this Pro Diver, and it's perfect. I think that this watch really was the first for a lot of us getting into watches, a lot of us getting into automatic watches. So I'm just gonna say it, I think it's one of the most iconic watches in the world. And of course, these watches are not without fault. I would say one of the biggest weaknesses is the lume. The lume is trash. You could shine a bright light on it for 5 hours straight, and then it will glow for maybe 30 seconds and then just die immediately afterwards. At less than $100, that is not a deal breaker for me. However, there are plenty of Chinese homage brands out there that are killing it with the lume game. So I think Invicta should dedicate some R&D or some effort into upgrading the lume to really make the Pro Diver an unquestionable king in the budget category. But regardless of whatever faults you can find with the Pro Diver, the hardware just works. Even though you've got the jingly jangly cheap clasp and the hollow end links, maybe not the best quality bezel, it all works. And there's really nothing wrong with it. Whatever you need it for, it is going to do. And with a respectable NH35 movement, it's gonna handle whatever you throw at it. And when it comes to watches, that's the perfect type of watch that you want. The kind of watch that can handle whatever you throw at it, and one that you don't have to worry about. You can go out, live your life, have a good time, make friends, do crazy activities, have a watch on your wrist and not constantly worry about if there's a new scratch on it. Scratches are gonna happen. It's inevitable if you are truly wearing your watch. So you might as well get scratches on a watch that doesn't feel like you're losing, you know, thousands of dollars every single time you get a mark on your case. And I get it, you shouldn't care about scratches on your watch anyways, but I'm not gonna lie to you, like on my watches that are 5,000, 6,000 plus in value, in monetary value in today's market, it's painful. It kills me every single time I see the tiniest of nicks on the case. And I don't know what to tell you. I can't control those feelings because I'm not a billionaire. So, you know, things like that matter to me, and that's just my own personal feelings, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to feel the same way. And that's what makes the Pro Diver so beautiful, because it's a beautiful watch that you can also have fun with without worrying about too much, and it's still going to handle it perfectly fine. Aside from the Superman and the 17039 that I have here today, Invicta's got so many different color variations with the Pro Diver, and that is also another thing that makes this such a fantastic and fun hobby, because you can mix and match, you can color coordinate, you know, whatever color you like. There's probably going to be an Invicta Pro Diver out there that just resonates with you or matches your style. And as long as you can buy a couple and, you know, stop after maybe 5 or even 10, then I think it's a beautiful thing. I say that because I know a bunch of people that they buy like hundreds of these watches, and I don't agree with that, but I do agree with, you know, getting a couple, maybe a dozen, you know, you get one for each day of the week. And to that end, I think that's a great thing. It's a beautiful thing to be able to do that. You don't have to make 7 figures to be able to do that. You know, you could just be anybody really, just getting into the watch hobby. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So anyways, regardless of what you've heard about Invicta, regardless of what anybody else thinks, go ahead, take a look at, you know, Joma shop, go on Amazon, shop around, see if you find a Pro Diver that really just calls to you, and get it and have fun with it. I highly recommend them, and that's all I gotta say for now. I hope I hope I didn't bore you too much with my rambling. I just wanted to talk about these watches because they've just been really hitting different. You know, I've just been having such a great time with them, and I wanted to cover it today. Other than that, I'll see you guys in my next episode, and have a great weekend. Bye.